Let's talk about something that affects millions of us, but often happens right under our noses. We're going to pull back the curtain on the surprising, hidden link between some of the most common painkillers on the planet and your heart health. And we're basing all this on solid research from places like Harvard Health, the Mayo Clinic, and the American Heart Association.
So, does this sound familiar? You're doing everything right. I mean, you're eating healthy, you're trying to stay active, you take your meds like clockwork, but every time you check your blood pressure, those numbers just stare back at you, refusing to come down. It is so frustrating, and honestly, it's a really common mystery.
Well, what if the missing piece of that puzzle is sitting in your medicine cabinet right now? The truth is, millions of people, especially if you're over 60, are unknowingly taking simple, everyday pills that are quietly, silently raising their blood pressure.
So, let's get into it. Let's put on our detective hats and solve what we're calling the blood pressure mystery.
Okay, so where is this hidden culprit? Let's unmask the pill that's probably hiding in your home right now in plain sight.
Yep, Advil, Motrin, Aleve, or their generic buddies Ibuprofen and Naproxen. These are the go-to pills, right? The ones we reach for when our arthritis flares up or a headache just won't quit. And because they're just sitting there on the shelf at the pharmacy, we kind of assume they're as harmless as a vitamin.
And just how common are we talking? Get this. The American Heart Association says that over 30 million adults in the U.S. alone use these pills every single week. That is a staggering number of people who might have no idea about the side effects we're about to get into.
Now, here's where we really need to shift our thinking. For anyone over 60, these aren't just painkillers. A much more accurate name, one that cardiologists use, is vascular constrictors. They literally constrict or squeeze your blood vessels. Wow. That name alone kind of changes how you see that little pill, doesn't it?
So, how in the world does this actually happen? Let's break down the mechanics behind this silent heart strain.
I mean, it's the big question, isn't it? How can a little pill you take for an achy knee have such a huge effect on your entire circulatory system? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating, and it all starts in a place you probably wouldn't expect.
It all comes down to your kidneys. Think of your kidneys as this super high-tech 24/7 filtration system for your body. Their main job is to constantly balance fluids and get rid of extra salt to keep your blood pressure nice and steady. But these painkillers, well, they throw a real wrench in the works.
You see, these painkillers, which are technically called NSAIDs, that's non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, they launch this two-pronged attack on your system. First, they mess with your kidneys, making them hold on to extra salt and water. And then, at the exact same time, like we just learned, they directly cause your blood vessels to tighten up. It's a really powerful and dangerous one-two punch.
Here's a simple way to picture it. Imagine the plumbing in your house. What would happen if you kept pumping more and more water into those pipes, while at the same time you were squeezing them tighter and tighter? The pressure would have to go up, right? It would skyrocket. Well, that is exactly what's happening inside your body.
So what's the real-world impact of all this? We're talking about your blood pressure creeping up by 5, 10, maybe even 15 points. And the scariest part? You won't feel a thing while it's happening. But for an older adult, that small increase is more than enough to seriously raise the risk of a heart attack or a stroke.
Now, this is where the situation can go from being just a concern to something that is truly critical. We need to talk about what doctors call a dangerous medical trio.
To really get this, let me tell you about a real-life situation. Let's call her Margaret. She's 68. She was taking ibuprofen every day for her arthritis. After a while, she noticed her shoes felt tight, and she was getting winded just walking up the stairs. She just brushed it off, Oh, I'm just getting older.
What Margaret didn't realize was that she had created this dangerous trio. See, she was already taking a common blood pressure medicine, a diuretic, or what some people call a water pill, and then she added the ibuprofen on top of it. And here's the frightening part. Research shows this exact combination can literally double the risk of being hospitalized for heart failure in seniors. Double.
It's like a lethal tug-of-war happening inside your body. On one side, you've got your blood pressure medicine working hard to get rid of extra fluid. And on the other side, you have the painkiller doing the exact opposite, forcing your body to hold on to it. And your poor heart is just caught in the middle, working overtime, trying to deal with the strain.
Okay, I know that was a lot of heavy information. But the most important question is, what can we do about it? So let's pivot to the solution. Let's talk about your safer action plan.
The goal here is not to live in pain. Of course not. It's about managing pain without accidentally hurting your heart. So here are some safer options to talk about with your doctor. Acetaminophen, that's Tylenol. It works differently on pain signals in your brain, not your kidneys. Or topical gels that put the medicine right on the spot, so less of it gets into your bloodstream. And hey, let's not forget things like physical therapy that can actually fix the root cause of the pain.
All right, so I have some very clear, very simple homework for you this week. Just 3 steps. First, go audit your medicine cabinet. Look for that word, NSAID. Second, make an appointment for a medication review with your doctor or pharmacist. And bring everything you take, especially the over-the-counter stuff. And third,
Ask this magic question. I want you to either write this down or just burn it into your memory. You ask them, could any of my pain medicines be raising my blood pressure or straining my kidneys? It's a simple, direct question, but it can open up a conversation that is absolutely crucial for your health.
Look, here's the bottom line. We take these pills to feel better, to stay active, to live our lives. We just have to be smarter about it. Don't let a medicine that's supposed to help you become the very thing that silently harms you. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What role have these common painkillers played in your own health journey? And more importantly, what's one small change you can make starting today to protect your heart? Thanks so much for joining me.